everyone, welcome to another episode of Guam Photography. And today of course I have the awesome Lumix G9 camera. I actually sold my Nikon D850 for this camera, and so far I'm pleased to say that it's been very helpful on this photo shoot. I say helpful because the eye and face detection is pretty good on it while I was trying it out with our model today. And our model today is...
Hi, my name is Diandra Villanueva. I'm 25 from the island of Manila. And, yeah, what do I say?
Diandra seems a little bit nervous, but she's pretending she's nervous, but she's actually not. She's been modeling for a while. Yeah. You just said island of Manila, but it's
the island of Manila. Oh my gosh. I'm from the village of Manila. I'm really nervous.
But we're still on Guam.
Yeah.
We're still on Guam, okay? There's not a different island called Manila. It's one of the villages on Guam.
Yeah.
We have a lot of subscribers that from like Europe, from Guam, of course, locally as well, US. So they like to watch our videos to see Guam's beauty. And right now it's kind of overcast, but actually that's pretty good for photography. The light's really soft. Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to say? What about the photos that's coming from the camera so far?
The photos are really, really nice. I look very clean in them. I like the fit of it.
Oh, the camera itself,
yeah.
How it goes in the hands?
Yes, it's like really light, and it actually has really good quality photos.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, keep on shooting. We still have one more outfit after this, and we're gonna see if we can go to that lookout point. I don't know if you can see behind us, all the way up there, to get some white shots of the ocean and Two Lovers Point along the cliff line there.
So keep me moving to the beat of the night till the lights go out. Oh, and if you want, baby, I could be the only one. Make up your...
Oh, what a beautiful camera this is. I wish I could keep it for myself. Can he hear us? Oh, you're talking.
I think, no, he couldn't. Yeah, I think he'd hear us.
Show me anything, you got me running. Can you feel it? If you let me, I'll show you what it means.
This camera has a lot of physical features. I may need to refer to my phone for some notes, but it is constructed from magnesium alloy, die-cast frame. The G9 features extensive weather sealing, and some people think that Micro Four Thirds camera doesn't have any weather sealing at all. But this has seals at each joint, dowel, and button, and it is splash and dust proof, and also freeze proof at about 14 degrees Fahrenheit. It has a super large electronic viewfinder, 0.83x magnification, and it has a 3.86 million dot screen. I think this is one of the best viewfinders I've ever looked through compared to the Leica SL. The refresh rate of the EVF can go up to 120 frames per second, so if you're panning really quick, it'll be super smooth. Yep. There's also a screen at the top that you can see your information. It has a great grip. It feels good in the hands. Diandra, it feels good in your hands?
Yes, it feels great in my
Awesome.
hands.
And the wrist screen is 3 inches, about 1 million pixels on the screen. It's pretty clear. And the touch gestures is very nice. So when Diandra's looking through it, just swiping like a looking through your iPhone, and also zooming in, pinch to zoom. Also, the joystick is available at the rear if you want to change the focus point. And the camera is actually very light without the lens. It's only 1.27 pounds. The only downside of this for physical features is the dual UHS 2 cards are pretty expensive. I wanted to get a Sony G64 gigabyte card, and just one SD card alone was about $107, and I need 2. So I'm not too sure spending $200 on memory cards is a good idea, but it went for like the little bit value, the Sony M. So both of those cards is about $100. But if you're doing some serious shooting, high frames per second, then you may need the dual UHS 2 cards. Okay, well, keep on shooting.
You got me going, can't control. Fingers crossed you take me home.
Another good thing is the articulating screen, 1, 2, and 3. If you don't want to be squatting low, you can actually pop it out like this and twist it. And you can just get shots at a lower angle like this. 1, 2, and 3. Very nice.
Waiting on you to tell me it will be alright. We're closer now, think it's time we try this out. What are you waiting for? Think it's time we try this out. What are you waiting for? Just take the shot, take it.
Okay, so right now I'm using, yeah, straight, and then you can change to the side. So what I've been using is, I usually use the one area, and I would focus on Diandra's eye and take the photo. But I found it easier, I press FN1, to use the face eye detection, and actually it picks up Diandra's face pretty quick, and that cross tells me which eye is actually going to focus on, 1, 2, and 3. So if we go closer, sorry if Godfrey can follow me, the square actually gets bigger. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3. Very nice. And the good thing is if I move backwards, sorry Godfrey, if I go pretty far, even to get a full body shot, it's still tracking her face pretty well. And it still detects the eye. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Please look out towards the ocean. Thank you. 1, 2, and 3. Pretty nice. 1, 2, and 3. And just to check. Double tap. Double tap. There we go, zooming in. Pretty sharp.
I know you need it. Come on, show me anything. You got me running. Can you feel it? If you let me, I'll show you what it means.
Yeah, choose which one would you like.
Is it possible to change it with this?
You can try. Oh, so you want it precise, right?
There's nice.
Okay, then you just press the center button. Save this image. That's it.
Show me what it's all about. Just take the shot. Morning's getting closer. I'm waiting on you to tell me it will be alright. We're closer now. Think it's time we try this out. What are you waiting for? What it's all about.
So another good thing about this articulating screen is you can actually take selfies with it and use the Wi-Fi to transfer from the camera a high quality image to your phone. So I'm going to take a selfie with Diandra, and it's on a 10-second timer, and it's on face detection.
10 seconds.
And I keep on looking at the screen, but hopefully that worked.
Huh?
It worked?
So keep me moving to the beat of the night till the lights go out. Oh, and if you want, baby, I could be the only one.
So we are done now with our photo shoot. We've been shooting for almost 2 hours, and the clouds didn't really clear up. So all the light we got is very soft. Well, that's a good thing. I really like using this camera for the 6K. I just transferred over the selfie to my phone, which I'm going to upload to Instagram for a better quality selfie with myself, Diandra, and Godfrey that's filming. The only thing that I need to change about this camera so far is maybe the dial up here. I accidentally hit the dial and the aperture went from 1.2 to 1.6. I didn't want to shoot the lens always wide open to blur the background with you, just to test it out. But this camera with the correct lens, the Olympus 45 1.2, it was able to really blur the background with Diandra. And Diandra, how do you like the photo shoot today? What do you think of it?
I liked it. I really like the 6K view
Option.
It's really nice. It's a lot better than, or we always look better in videos, I was saying, and in the 6K view, I was able to look at myself and get the right pose.
And I think, I was telling Diandra earlier, I think a lot of high fashion photographers use maybe the red, I think they call it Red Camera, that's a brand. or a really expensive camera where it takes high quality video, then you choose which frame you want and you pull that frame, but the video is so high quality, it's the frame itself is like a very high quality picture.
Yeah.
And you can edit that and you can pull the dynamic range out of it. So when I go home on a computer, I want to see the photos that I pulled, how good of a quality it is. But it should be, it's 18 megapixels, which is more than enough for like social media or even for print. So thank you for watching. I know a lot of subscribers was really wondering why did I switch, but so far I am liking the functionality of the camera over the Nikon D850. Thank you for watching, and as always, please subscribe. Okay, we have two 4K videos side by side, Lumix G9 on the left hand side and the Fujifilm X-Pro2 on the right hand side, both standard profiles. And as you can see, the G9 has really awesome stabilization using both IBIS and the lens stabilization, equals to about 6.5 stops, but I still think the Olympus E1 Mark II has better stabilization for 4K video. But straight out of camera, I do have to prefer the Fujifilm colors better for the 4K video. Alright, we are home now. I was shooting both RAW and JPEG with the Lumix G9 Pro. This is a JPEG image. To me, the colors and output of the G9 JPEGs are some of the best I've seen. This is another JPEG image, but I did notice when opening up the RAW file next to it, the Adobe color profile isn't as good as the camera standard JPEG from the G9. So what I needed to do is click on the grid here, and I already favorited the camera standard, but it's found under camera matching. So just click on camera standard, close, and the camera standard actually is pretty much close to matching the JPEG. So here's the JPEG, and here's the RAW file with camera standard. Very close, JPEG, and here's the RAW file. This still seems like a little bit brighter, but zooming in to Diandra's eye, the RAW file is very sharp. This is sharp wide open 1.2, very sharp lens. But if you look at the JPEG, it is sharp, but it seems like there's some smoothing going on, maybe some noise reduction that's happening. Let's look at another set of files. Again, JPEG color is very nice, and this is all raw, unedited. So again, colors are different. Just click on the grid, go to camera standard, close, and you'll have the RAW file pretty much match the JPEG. Again, JPEG, very sharp, but if you look at the RAW file that's been converted using the camera standard, it seems even sharper. So I would really recommend just shoot in RAW and then use the camera standard color profile. Okay, let's look at dynamic range. So this sensor does have pretty good dynamic range. One of the websites I was reading that reviewed the sensor actually puts it above, has better dynamic range than the Nikon D500 and the Fujifilm X-T20, which is also found in the X-Pro2. So bringing on the highlights, we're able to recover some in the sky. Shadows, bring it up a little bit. We can recover some of Diandra and a little bit contrast, vibrance, maybe lower down the exposure just a little bit. So it does a decent job, but really depends on the exposure at first. One picture here, as you can see, the sky is all blown out, but I was able to recover the sky, bring down the highlights all the way, recover some of Diandra, shadows up, some of the greens, give it some vibrance, and this is pretty much after, before. So before and after. So dynamic range, I'm thinking it's around maybe like a 13 if DxO Mark were to rate the sensor, which they haven't yet. Okay, let's get back to the RAW files. So RAW file, I did some slight editing, highlights all the way down. Again, I'm going to do a reset. So this is before, and this is after. No clarity, but This was shot a little bit above 1.2, 1.6. Super sharp lens at 1.2, even sharper at 1.6. You can count every single eyelash on Diandra's eye. Even zooming in, this is 1:1 by the way, even 2:1. You can see all the details. Lastly, when we're doing a selfie with this camera, you can, with articulating screen, you can turn it around, easily do a selfie. As you can see, it was focusing on Diandra's face. I'm a little bit blurry, but Diandra's sharp, and Godfrey, because he's in the same line as Diandra, he's also sharp as well. But just JPEG processing, still very sharp. A little bit of noise reduction, but again, out of camera JPEG is really nice. From using like the best full frame sensors, I'm a bit spoiled. The dynamic range coming from the G9 is good. I think it's good enough for a lot of situations. But maybe if I were to shoot in front of the sun, I may have to bring a reflector. But just working on the raw files, file sizes are really small, easy to work with, faster to import compared to the D850's huge raw files. And I'm saving hard drive space, and it just seems like editing is a bit faster. Instead of always zooming in 100 to 200% and trying to edit every fine detail, I can just zoom in 100% and edit the important like stray hairs. I can also edit maybe some, skin correction, things like that. And it seems to go by faster because the file sizes are smaller in Photoshop. So overall, I'm liking this camera. I'm going to keep it for a while, and I have a portrait lens coming in soon, and I'm going to do a video review on that as well. So if you want to see this portrait lens that's really going to blur the background and compress it, please subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching Guam Photography.